Hello everybody, this is Teresa Swan. Just wanted to make this quick video because I'm being evicted from this house because they want to sell up, but it's actually not up for sale. This year, well, I've been thinking about this since last year when they told me they were going to sell it. So I've had a whole year of stress looking for places, and every time I go and view a place now, there are other people there viewing it, and this is my 5th move. So in the other 4 times when I've moved, I've never been there viewing the place with other people. So I don't know what's happening now. So I viewed one today. I was the first person they phoned about this house weeks ago, that they were doing some building work on it. I was assured I was going to be the first person to see it, and also the first person who'd been told about it. So I said to them, so I'm the first person to view it, am I? Yes. When I got there, there was somebody already in the house. And I believe those people went back in there after I left, so they obviously really want the house, but so do I. I'm being evicted. The people that own this house also want someone with a dog or dogs because they know how hard it is themselves to rent with dogs, because they came back from Spain and tried to rent somewhere and they found how biased landlords are to dogs, so that's why they would like someone in there with a dog, which I've got. But that's not the point. Every house I view, I say I'd like it. How do I go about applying for it? I usually hear nothing back. They say if you're there, they're there with you, and they say, oh yeah, phone the office, leave a message when they're closed, email them, nothing. So this means people keep getting them in front of me. I don't get this because this never happened before. All the places I've viewed, the 4 times I've rented places before, I was the only person there viewing it, said I wanted it, and that was it. Got it. So what's different in 2009? Why are there so many people viewing the house at the same time? You're not buying it, you're renting it, aren't you? They shouldn't do that, because it should be one person at a time. If the first person who views it wants it, that's it. Shouldn't it be? I've viewed them. I went to view one a few weeks ago. I was the second person in that day, loved it, told the office, nothing. Then I saw it was rented out, and I said, how could it be rented out? I was only the second person to view it, and you were closed by lunchtime, and I viewed... Oh, the tenant, that's it, right? The letting agent didn't go with you. The person who was in the house, the tenant, took us around. So I didn't get how someone could have got it before me because the office was closed. I emailed them straight away, and they said, oh, someone who went earlier on that Saturday morning went into the office while it was still open and said they wanted it. So why the hell did they let me go and view it, and then another lady was viewing it after me? It's such a waste of our time. One I viewed recently, yep, great. Bungalow bigger than any of the ones I've ever viewed and the one I live in. And that owner wants to keep it on the market. It's not up for sale, by the way, it's up for rent. The landlord wants to keep it on the market. What does that mean? He's waiting to see how many people want it, so then he's going to put the price up, busy. So everybody is still on Rightmove, so everybody who's viewing that, because they're going to obviously still let people view it, are going to get told the same thing. Oh, at the moment the landlord wants to keep it on the market. Well, don't let people go and view it then and waste their time and their hopes. The rental market is ridiculously high in cost. That's my neighbour's dogs barking at the foxes. Got a fox family in the garden at the moment, and those dogs yap next door, and hardly ever get told off by their owners. My dog barks at people at the door, but I don't stop her doing that for about a minute, because I like to think that she's barking at people coming in the door, and she does. So she warns them off. If it's a postman, obviously I have to open the door. Apart from that, she warns people off. So, another thing I've thought about in the last couple of days is the fact that landlords and ladies do not think about the dramatic effect on people's health this has. They buy places, don't they? They want to keep them for a year, 2 years, 3 years. They want to sell them, don't they? Or move back in there. Moving house is one of the most stressful things you can go through. Stress, as most people know, is a killer. So if you have to keep moving, and I'm not just saying me, because I found out when I moved here, and I put it on Facebook about how many times I'd moved, that some people have moved far more times than me in that time. Every year they've moved. So stress is a killer. So every time for a fact off, if you live in your own house, you don't quite understand this. You can imagine it. But when you rent somewhere, say like when I come here, I just thought, how long will we be here? You never really feel settled because you never know when you're going to get a letter through the door saying that they want their house back, or a phone call, or an email. So you can't, it's not your home, is it? You can't think of it as your home because you never know when that's coming. So that is always in the back of your mind. So that's always in your conscience, isn't it, that you're going to have to move again at some point. Then there's the cost of keep doing this. The letting agent fees, the credit checking fees, which are ridiculous because it only costs them probably about £5 to credit check everyone. And they charge you £100-odd, don't they? Extortionate prices. And the deposits. And then moving all your stuff out again and then moving it back in again. Last time when I moved here to this place 3 years ago, 3 years, 2 months ago, after we'd moved in, that winter, the knock-on effect of all the stress of finding us another place, the stress of moving, the threat of being evicted again and getting so close to being evicted again like I am now, that all on your mind. My thyroid levels went to so low, the doctor told me he was going to have to send me to hospital, which I said, well, I'm not going. Because I don't like hospitals, do not trust them. What would they have done to me? Started pumping other things into me that I didn't need. I only needed thyroxine. So he put me on a very, very high dose of thyroxine and said, we'll see how you are, otherwise you're going to go to hospital. That was from the result of the immense stress of moving for the 4th time. Now, about to move for the 5th time. I've now got my court papers. I've got to send them back, so I'm only going to get, if they give me another, they can only extend it for 6 weeks, so I hope they do that, but I hope I also find someone somewhere in that before that. So it always works out okay in the end, but it isn't okay for your body, is it? Because stress is a killer. So to me, each landlady or landlord that thinks it's all right to keep moving you out, moving their tenants out because they want to make some profit on their place, is actually damaging your health. If you're being kicked out because you haven't paid the rent and things like that, and you've been going on a holiday and going out for meals when you should have been paying your rent, that's different. That's your fault, isn't it? But I haven't done that, and most people don't do that, do they? They pay their rent first. And then you get repaid by that by asking you to leave. I've paid this landlady £32,000 in 3 years. That's the last of my divorce money, gone, all paying landlords' mortgages, and they've still got their house and we have nothing from it, do we? We have nothing from it, apart from the stress. And the landlords and landladies still have their houses and they've got all their rent money from you, haven't they? So it's really not right, is it? Really, really not right. It's okay to rent places out, but they shouldn't be the price they are. They should be at least half what they are. 3-bedroomed house in this area of Essex is anything from £1,100 to £1,400. A 3-bedroom, very ordinary house, by the way, with a very, very small 3rd bedroom, which shouldn't even be called a bedroom, usually. So that's what we get here. And it's happening all over the world. I know this because I watch documentaries on YouTube. It's happening in Hong Kong, Australia, Germany, America, Australia, everywhere. Everywhere. Rents are going up. People can't buy. Rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. But what was mainly, that is one of those things we can't control at the moment, as we all stand up and say enough's enough, which we need to do, don't we? But it's the stress factor. If you keep moving, you are potentially shortening your life, aren't you? Because the stress has a very big effect on your cells in your body. So these landlords and landladies keep getting you to move out of their properties and really not caring a monkeys about the effect it's having on you and your family members, are responsible for your damaging your health. It's a fact that they are. There's no way to look around that differently. They actually are damaging your health. this time I'm not quite as stressed as all the other times because I think differently now, and I know it's going to work out all right in the end. And I have to keep waving those thoughts away. The stress and the fear start getting in because I'm not going down there, because we have nowhere else to go. My parents are dead, so I can't go back home. My brother lives in a very small one-bedroom flat with too much stuff in it, so there's definitely we can't go there, and that's 65 miles away anyway. So that's not good wouldn't be practical for my son's job and things and mine. So that's not right, and we wouldn't fit in there anyway. You know, it's just there'll be nowhere to sleep. So that's the only option I've got. Can't do that. Just like he couldn't come here. Everybody hasn't got somewhere else they can go, someone's sofa to sleep on. I haven't, because I've got me, my son, and my dog, our dog. So I don't suppose most landlords are going to be cared about the actual health damaging effect they're having on your health, are they? But it wouldn't be so bad if rents were much lower in price, letting agents didn't exist, or not so many of them, and their fees were extremely low. I don't think you even had letting agents years ago. Sure you didn't. So to pay, one I looked at today, it's £100 each for credit checking, and they either do this themselves, looking on Experian and put your name in it, or they pay an agency, and what they're going to charge them, £10 each. So they're making, say they charge £25 each, they're making £75 each out of you. And it also says on there that if the credit check fails, you don't get your money back, or any of it, they keep it. Well, the fact is, most people renting don't have excess money, do they? So that's, or what you could, if there's 3 of you moving in over 18, you've paid them £300 for credit checking, and you could fail, and you've lost £300. Criminal, isn't it? And then you pay setting up fees. When I last moved, I actually made a noise when she told me how much it was, considering that letting agent I was already letting from anyway, so I only just swapped places. And I gasped how much it was, because you've got your deposit. Like I said, there's an arrangement fee, rubbish. Then there's the credit checking fee, and some of them wangle in other fees, don't they? You know, you really can't afford to keep paying out every year, 2 years, 3 years, can you? But you have to get in that place, don't you? It's a crime against humanity as far as I'm concerned. Perhaps we should take it to that board as a crime against humanity. What's the other one? The one that's particularly against you, that one. You know, so that's what we should do. So, landlords, landladies, not estate agents, we can blame them because they put up the prices of houses, don't they? And then the letting agents put up the price of the rents, don't they? So it's all of them, isn't it? But basically, it's letting agents, the letting agents, the landlords and landladies who are damaging your health. No one can deny that stress is a killer, can they? So they are actually damaging your health. So don't feel sorry for them. Don't think that they're lovely. They're not. If they were, they'd lower the price of their rent, wouldn't they? Or say at Christmas, say, do you know what? I'm feeling very generous. You don't have to pay your rent in December. Or January even. You know. Wouldn't that be lovely if they said that? And rents were half the price they are. We can all hope, but hope isn't good enough, is it? We all have to actually do something about it, don't we? So we want to vote in parties that are actually going to do something about it. And if they don't, we'll go marching off up to London in England to do something about it, to tell them we've had enough. And all the people around the world need to do this, march in front of their own government buildings to say enough's enough, we've had enough of the extortionate cost of housing. Well, thank you all for listening. Have a lovely, lovely week, month, and keep smiling, because I do. I am constantly telling myself in my head I'm happy, happy, happy. I'm lucky, lucky, lucky. When I've started, I'm joy, I'm joy, I'm joy. Because it brainwashes you into a better pattern of thinking, doesn't it? And it's much better than thinking, oh my God, I'm going to be evicted. I'm not ignoring it. I know it's there and I'm doing everything I can. I'm looking for places every day, going to view places, wanting the places, but don't get... One's going to turn up, isn't it? I know that. I'm going to get allowed to move into one, aren't I? Me and my son and dog. But don't let it get to you. I have been at this point before, but I had actually got the court papers with the actual date on to go to court. I remember that. That was the second time. And when that was going on, I just about gave up. But I only gave up actually for about 10 minutes. I remember being on my computer, couldn't find it, and I got told we weren't going to get any help from the council as in housing benefit. And I had no money, by the way. And I said, well, that's it, give up. Just don't know what to do. Give up now, give up. My son was about 11, 12. And he quickly reminded me that you don't give up, Mum, do you? I said, no, I don't. So then I went into what am I going to do about this mode, and I wrote to emailed my local parliamentary MP because the council told me they weren't going to help me with housing benefit, and I had no money. I had a job, but not enough money to go and rent somewhere. And that didn't last long. They actually told me they weren't going to help me. So where was I supposed to move to if they weren't going to actually help me? They help other people, don't they? Don't know why they said they couldn't help me, but they did. So I had my brainstorm where I cracked up for 10-15 minutes. I just didn't know what to do. My son put me in my place, said, you don't give up, Mum. And then immediately I went into the mode, what am I going to do? I asked myself that question. And then I emailed my local MP. It was about 10 days, I suddenly got this phone call from the council saying that you will be getting housing benefit. We will be backdating it to when you ask for it. I don't think they said sorry, but she'd told them off. So there are times when it is really important, if you're feeling really downtrodden in your local community, to contact your local parliamentary MP. That's what they're there for. You know, and she has helped me. She helped me in another thing to do with moving again. So that's what you need to do. That's what they're there for. To ask them for help and assistance. In the United Kingdom, there's a wonderful charity called Shelter, who you can get so much information on if this is happening to you for the first time, because when it's happening to you for the first time, you really don't know what to do. First time it was happening to me, a Polish man who me and my friend had met at a spiritual group. I think I'd put something on Facebook, and he phoned me and he put me not in my place. He made me a lot calmer because he knew how it worked. He'd helped other people before and looked in the ins and outs a bit for other people. So he calmed me down as well. So if you don't know what to do, put it out there on the internet. Has anyone been through this before? Can they help me? If no one responds, call Shelter in the United Kingdom, or if you've got the internet, go on their website. I've had a live chat with them today, actually, asking them some advice about this form. There's always lovely people out there to help you. But essentially, the best thing you can do for yourself is to keep your thoughts on a very, very high vibration. Because not much can get you down when you're in your high vibration. Keep reminding my son of this, who went off very angry tonight about something. But then I suppose he's at work, and it's a good job actually he is, because he's not worrying about this as much as if he was still at college and home some days, and you know, and plus it's obviously a lot better he's at work, but it has a dramatic effect on him. It has caused him so much stress, because the first time we moved was when he was 10. And this is our 5th move since. So a lot of his school life has been disrupted by stress. He missed lots of days of school down to stress because he was suffering with terrible headaches and stomach aches, and that was the stress of moving so many times and never feeling settled. It's not right. When I was a child, the road next to my mum and dad's, who owned their house, a man had bought a lot of the houses in that road and he rented them out. They weren't council houses, it was a man and he rented them out. Now those rents were about, my dad said they were less than half of what his mortgage was. Less than half, probably about a third actually of what his mortgage was. And that is the way it should be, because you don't own that house. You're just renting it off that man or lady. That's how much rents were. Now rents are the price of what the mortgage would be, and sometimes the rent is even more than what the mortgage would be if you could buy it, which of course you can't, because that's why you're renting. So that's where something badly has gone wrong. You see, rents used to be cheap. Council rents are still cheap. The people that live in them probably think it's too much, but it's not. A 3-bedroomed house in Essex, a council home, is about £420 a month rent. 3-bedroomed house that's not a council house is about £1,200 to £1,400. How come the council value that house at that much, but letting agents value other houses that aren't necessarily better? Council houses are really built well. They're very strong houses, well-built houses. So how come the letting agents think that another house that's also got 3 bedrooms in, that could not, maybe not as solid a house, is worth 3 times more? Doesn't make sense. If all the rents were in line with what the council charged for their flats and their houses, or just slightly more, like £50 more, £100 more, the rent on a 3-bedroomed house in this area would be about £500, wouldn't it? So that is where something's badly wrong, because they haven't been £500 a 3-bedroomed house for probably 15, 20 years. Should it be 20 years? Yeah. People's wages haven't gone up. More and more people are on the minimum wage. So it doesn't work out, does it? You're putting the rents up and the rents up and the rents up, and more people are on the minimum wage. It can't work, can it? Something's got to break. It won't be they're going to start paying people suddenly more money, so it'll be they have to lower the rents. And then everyone will be less stressed, because say I was moving now, right, and rents were only about, I could get a nice house of about £400, it wouldn't be stressful. I still have to wait and try to find one that takes a dog, but it's the fact it's so much money, and then the deposit is so much money, isn't it? Sometimes it's a month and a half's rent deposit. If you're paying £1,200 for a house, that means you're paying £1,800 in a deposit. You know, who's got that money? So very few people actually have that money. If they have got it, they're probably borrowing it, or they're paying for it on a credit card, aren't they, borrowing it? They're probably doing it that way. Why should people have to do that? They shouldn't, should they? Well, thank you all for listening. We all have to make the change. The way I'm making the change, I speak out about it. I talk to lots of people about it who I meet, and tell them, people who've got their own houses, they think it's terrible, how much rents are, because they've got children usually, and they know they're never going to be able to buy anywhere. So they know how much rents are, because their children tell them, other people. And it's to keep your thoughts very high, because there's no point in getting into that fear mode, because it doesn't make you feel better, does it? It really doesn't make you feel better. So go into that appreciation mode and be full of joy. Every day I wake up smiling, every time I go to bed smiling. I could go into that mode of, like I said, oh my God, we could end up on the street. No, that doesn't help you sleep well, does it? That doesn't change anything apart from making you feel really rubbish, doesn't it? So whatever's going on in your life, still think gratitude, still think joy, because what's most important is your health, isn't it? Your health, your family, that you've got food and clothes and water. That is essentially what matters, or is all that matters actually, in love. And that starts from within. So for some people who think, well, I haven't got any love, and my parents didn't love me, or I haven't got a partner, haven't got any children that love me, or haven't got any children, it doesn't matter. It starts from in here. Love yourself. That's the most important thing to do in your life, is to love yourself. It's lovely if you get it from extra people as well, isn't it? But if you don't, it doesn't matter. What is important is you love yourself from the inside out, and life is a lot better. Well, thank you all for listening, and hopefully in the next couple of weeks I'm telling people I've moved. Thank you. Bye-bye.